Hello world, this is Edward Bevilacqua, the editor of La Voce, publisher of Ciao Tutti, and with the Italian American Club, and I have the great privilege of accidentally or mistakenly going to an appointment with Peter Anthony to talk about, to interview him, but it was for Monday. So he was gracious enough to take part of his day, do the interview now. We started talking, lost track of time. So I'm going to just jump right in, turn the camera around. Peter, thank you very much for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Considering how it was kind of oops.
Yeah, it's cool though. Everything works out.
Let's just jump right in. What are your Italian American roots? Your family's from?
Yeah, my family's from Ischia, which is an island by Capri, and Palermo.
I understand it's a beautiful island.
Sicily. It's gorgeous. Limoncello. Everybody knows,
okay.
Yeah, Limoncello.
Right. Okay.
It was a fishing island, and then they, at the turn of the century, started to grow more lemons, and then they the fishermen would come, they'd leave the alcohol, they wanted it to taste better, so the lemons were there for the fish already, so they put it in with some sugar and limoncello.
Okay.
Home of limoncello.
Okay. Well, that's we have one of the people we've interviewed, Ricky Santa Maria, is a young kid. He's from Genoa.
Oh, nice.
Moved here
Beautiful
a couple years ago, opened a restaurant on Flamingo, not far from here, called Gina's Bistro. Well, it was Gina's Bistro. He bought it. But he makes limoncello once a year for his friends.
And then my friends make it at the Du Forni, the restaurant Du Forni. They make the limoncello, and they make a yummy orange cello. Which is really good. Same idea.
Are the lemons special?
It depends on what you add. Did they come from Italy out here? I don't know.
Well, no, but I mean in Ischia.
In Ischia?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that the lemons are special, but you need them. I mean, that's how you're seasoning the fish. Everything tastes, in Italy, because of the ash, the volcanic ash, everything tastes a little different because there's different nutrients in the ground.
I did not know that was the reason.
Yeah, so when you're in the, and it's coastal. So, if you're in, perhaps you're in Sicily, and Sicily's, you have, Pinot Grigios from Sicily, or you maybe, everybody knows cannolis, but they don't know that they're from Sicily.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so.
It's two things I've learned in 5 minutes.
Yeah. So 3.
Where you
Pinot
from?
Grigios from Sicily. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Cannolis are from Sicily.
Okay, cannoli and
then limoncello's from Ischia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, so you started saying that's the part of Italy your family's from, and they came over to the U.S.
They came over to the U.S.
And they ended up where?
They ended up in where most of the Italians. They went through Ellis Island. They ended up in Brooklyn.
Okay. My family ended up in Niagara Falls.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Pretty area.
But then they moved on to Oakland, which is where I'm from.
Oh,
Not
okay.
so pretty.
It's all beautiful. It's all beautiful.
So was it your grandfather that came over?
My great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather.
My great-grandfather. Yeah, he was a fisherman, but he also he made he was a craftsman, and he would make the models for the boats in the shipyards. They'd always have to create a very specific model, and he would make all of the models of the ships.
Okay. So
that this way they would have a prototype.
Got it.
So
but a small one.
But maybe 6-8 feet.
Oh, okay.
And then they would wind up. Then they would sell those prototypes, or he would be commissioned for those prototypes, and then they wind up in banks and museums.
Sure.
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of interesting how Italian Americans usually know what their ancestors did?
Yeah, I mean, that's because we do the same things. I mean, that's what I was telling you.
Okay, so you were okay. Got it.
So we all were, because it was passed on for so many generations. If your father did something, then you the son, and then the son of the son would do the same thing. We were given those choices. It's only probably in the last 2 generations that we've really veered off.
Okay.
And
that's where you went.
I think that's where most of us went.
Yeah.
If you go to an Italian restaurant in New York now, everybody in the back is Spanish.
Yeah, that's
it's Latin, because our parents and our grandparents worked hard, saved money, and then sent us to college.
Right. And then they didn't really want you to work in the
They didn't. Yeah,
want a
but
better life.
different life.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's better.
Well, I agree in hindsight.
Yeah.
Now, we've got a couple guys here. You probably haven't met him because you haven't been here that long. One guy, he is fourth generation car builders. And
Oh,
they
fantastic.
build
Coach
cars.
builders.
His great-great-grandfather built coaches in Italy.
Wow.
Now they do cars for movies.
Oh, right on.
And so they've got, at the Bonanos Rob Bonanno has Espresso and Exotics the second Sunday of every month at Boca Park, where guys bring out their nice cars.
Yeah.
So Mario Sorrentino, the car builder, brought out his limo convertible, Viper limo convertible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And very cool. Everybody goes to it, and but he's fourth generation.
Yeah.
And his son works with him
Sure.
also. So exactly to your point.
Yeah. And then we thought, my family was all in construction.
Okay, what kind of construction?
The kind where they didn't get their hands dirty.
Okay,
So,
not masonry. Not
no,
cement guys. Okay.
No. On the other side of, but what, so I wound up in pre-law program.
Okay.
You have two choices. This side
Doctor.
of the law or this side
okay.
of the law. I went to this side of the law.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And I met a gentleman named Anthony Robbins when I was 19.
The guy from California.
Yeah, big tall
San
guy,
Diego.
motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And Tony and I became friendly, and he tutored me a bit, and I wound up changing my direction by dropping out of law school and going into cosmetology. I actually thought I would work my way through law school, and it would be a cool way to meet women.
Yeah, like in the movie Shampoo.
I didn't see the movie, but yeah, in hindsight, like in the movie Shampoo, or maybe the Zohan.
Okay.
I thought it was fantastic,
What
right?
Two, right?
Yeah, so I started doing that, and like my forefathers, I'm great, very creative, great with my hands, and it led to a tremendous amount of success.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just kept doing it, but what had happened is I started coaching entrepreneurs because my first company was Nouvelle Frontière, because my brother was going to La Sorbonne in Paris for school, and I kept going back and forth to visit, and there was a very cool little thing, and I was a very big Star Trek fan, and I thought, oh man,
who's your favorite captain?
My favorite captain,
Yeah.
Kirk.
Okay.
No. He's got a great name and he's very cool, but I like him in X-Men better.
Okay.
Sure. So we wound up.
But you like
coaching.
the original Kirk better than the new Kirk?
The new Kirk is fantastic.
Okay.
The new storyline is fantastic.
Okay.
And I think to the point of even Star Trek, the new storyline, like any other story, an Italian-American story has been, very romanticized through Hollywood.
Sure.
And especially, I had a business in Bayshore, Long Island, where all of the movies were written and filmed, and
okay.
Your friends wind up in, whether it's the movie Goodfellas, it's like they come and they're stealing your friends. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. You're going to be on some TV show, and you're going to be typecast as the Italian guy.
Got it.
Which is great. Which is fun. It's a lot of fun. But we're at a point now. Whereas Italian Americans, we have the opportunity to go back and show people the component of how we've progressed and evolved, and the back of the story, which is what I love what they did with Star Trek. They show you an alternative.
Yeah.
And even what you do with your school, you're giving people an alternative. This does not have to be your life.
Right.
Because people think that, and in many cases it might be true. There's a lot of family names out here in Las Vegas that, in New York had a different meaning than they do perhaps in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Sure.
And interestingly enough, my last name it's adopted and it's Wynn now. So people come in their presupposition, which was great when I was in New York because the Bonanno portion or the Furio portion it's removed. But now you come here and it's like, oh, you're a win.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, no, it's not. You know, and you try to talk people out of the fact that they think you must be related to Steve.
Right.
You know,
but at least they're going to remember your name.
You would think, you know, but it's interesting. It's
Yeah.
Vegas.
So now let's go back to the name of your first company.
Nouvelle Frontière.
Yeah.
And it meant new frontiers.
Oh.
You know, so I wanted to. So what I did was I was taking education and marketing to.
And you're a cosmetologist.
At the time, I owned a salon,
Uh-huh.
and I was 23 years old, and I owned a salon. I was making a tremendous amount of money doing what I was passionate about.
Got it.
But what I was really passionate about was emancipating myself as an entrepreneur. And how that worked in that process, because I wasn't very good at it for the first 5 years. I made so many mistakes and generated a lot of experience and wisdom.
Yeah.
And then once I applied some really great strategies, I was able to have massive success in that field, and then learn that they were universal strategies, and I can have success in many fields. And so we teach them, to even still to this day. And
so Tony Robbins was he like the guy that got you onto that path?
Yeah,
like
you know, he introduced
me.
Along,
would you have become a lawyer? Would you be practicing law?
Probably not. Okay. I mean, I would. I think when you are whatever your destiny calls you to be.
Just how soon you get there.
Exactly, and how elegantly.
Yeah.
You know, and I was able to. At times I had grace, and at times I had frustration. So.
Sure. Now I had one of the people we interviewed was asking, well, what makes Italian Americans different? One of the people said, well, you know, Italian Americans have this good ability to imagine something in their head and actually be able to build it. Not many people can do that. And I think in your cosmetology business, you know, that's the thing you do, right? You picture it in your head first.
Well, and I would. My mom did the same thing. You know, she's an interior decorator. My uncles all, you know, were in construction. I wound up going for my GC. We flipped about 45 plus homes.
Oh, okay.
So I dabbled in that, but and I've built about 30 or 40 salons.
Wow.
For ourselves.
And you have to picture.
You have to see it. You know, even and it, you know.
And you can go down to the level of putting things together, literally, right?
With my hands or my head.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
And when you're doing hair, it's really have to have very good. It's like being a surgeon.
Could be. I mean, it could be. And you know, we're lucky, and in the hair category, I did quite well, and I was quite well respected for quite some decades. And now we still own salons here in Las Vegas, and they're wonderful, and they're super cool, super expensive, really well trained. But you know, we also help build entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I think my ability to envision someone else's future and what it could be with their current set of resources, by re-articulating that resource or changing the syntax of it.
Yeah.
You know, we're able to find great success for young people and people in transition. So it's been really, really exciting.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, do you find most people, given the skills and the belief, they would want to be their own boss?
I think that they don't.
They don't. So people just want to be.
I think people want direction, and what we share is that a lot of people have what I call an entrepreneurial moment, where they have a great idea and they're passionate about, or even at work. So wouldn't this be really cool? But it might be an entrepreneurial moment versus being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur means you've burned the boats, you've taken all the money and equity you have, and you've risked it with the understanding that you have a 96% chance of failure.
But people don't really think they have 96%.
No, they think
afterwards.
Right. And, you know, and nobody walks up to the altar and thinks they're going to get divorced.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and nobody thinks that their spouse is going to cheat on them or they're going to cheat on their spouse, but 76% of the time that's what happens.
I see. Okay.
So I think that you have to find passion in who you are. And the one thing that I love about being Italian is, for so many generations and still today, and I instill it in my children, to have passion in who you are, not what you do. And because if you have passion in who you are, if you understand the importance and you're passionate about family and you're passionate about helping people and and you take passion to work with you, you know, somebody has to sweep the streets, somebody has to clean the toilets, somebody has to build the home, somebody has to lay the sod, somebody has to put the shingles on the roof. I mean, for quite a long time, most of those jobs I did myself. You know, when I was building my salon, I worked in the nightclubs after hours cleaning the bathrooms so that I'd have the money to build my first business.
Sure.
You know,
but that didn't define who you were.
No, it can't. But I was passionate about it. They were the cleanest bathrooms ever.
Okay, because there you go. Right.
You know, because that's how you represent your family.
Well, so that reminds me of this other person said when asked the question about what makes Italian Americans different. It was Italian Americans do something they exceed expectations. We just don't do it to expectations. So when it comes to fashion, you know, we just don't build or design a set of shoes to be functional. We go beyond. Or cars.
Everything from the stitching, the way the leather feels, the way it's shaped, the way it integrates with the soul.
So it's like taking pride in what you do.
Right? I think so. You know, we had a seminar here yesterday. I had 122 people.
Wow.
It was fantastic. It was for business owners and entrepreneurs. And they, you know, I introduced myself and I said, here's what I love about being an Italian.
Okay. Good start.
Great start. When you come to my home, I know that there's going to be several things that happen.
Okay.
You know, that we're going to feed you amazing food that's created with love, care, and it's going to taste wonderful. It's going to make you feel good. We're going to give you some fantastic wine. And when we clean, we move the sofa and clean underneath it, even though we know you'll never look there. And there's something like when we were preparing our homes, my mother always, you know, you're Italian, you clean everything. It's like, Mom, they're not going to go in the, you know, they're not going to go in my room. Why do I have to clean it? Yeah. But she says, you never know, you know, and it's a sign of respect that we show ourselves, and it was so important to us growing up, you know, that respect that you have for your family, that camaraderie that you have with your cousins and your extended family. We're our culture, just for whatever reason, our culture really cultivated that, and it really embraced that. And I think that has a lot to do with why we, you know, there are aspects of us that can be very successful, and it's very seductive. Because we love taking care of people, even how we're portrayed in the movies as mobsters, you know, and there's some validity to that, but at the end of the day, you know, the audience falls in love with them because they take care of their family.
You're right.
And that romanticizes it. We're like knights, and, you know, we're like, you know, and people love that. They fall in love with that. Women feel safe. Men feel honored to have that friendship and loyalty from somebody like that. Because we don't just give it away.
Well, you know, last night I saw the movie Furious 7 with Vin Diesel.
Oh, cool. I didn't see it.
And he's into this whole family thing. I mean, it's just, you know, these guys are quasi not legitimate people. But the whole thing was about family. He's saying my familia, you know, just it's very much of an Italian undertones. Of family is very important. He said, I don't have friends, I have family.
That's it.
And
if you're a friend, which is an interesting spot to be, a friend means you're still in audition to become part of the family.
Good. You know, this is great. I know you have to go. We want you to come by the school.
Oh man, we'd be honored.
One last question: sauce or gravy?
You know, it's an interesting question. You know, because it defines, are you from the north or from the south? Okay. You know, gravy is from the south. Sauce would be closer to the north. You know, if you're in Milan, it's never gravy. It's sauce, or Bologna. For me, it was called sauce, but we knew it to be gravy. You know, you know, so. But you know, you know, it's really, do you want your pasta soft or do you want it hard? Okay. You know, is it going to be al dente or is it going to be, you know?
Well, excellent. This has been a great chat. We look forward to once again doing this and having you in the magazine. Thank you so much.
I really do appreciate